BookTube, this is Kelly, and this is Books I'm Not Reading. It's been an exciting morning. Been contending with leaf blowers. I just had a woodpecker in the tree here, which was really cool. I don't think I've ever been to one that close. So I'm going to try this again. We'll see how it goes. One just never knows. Filming's always an adventure, right? So anyway, I wanted to talk to you about my reading plans for the rest of the year. There's birds trying to get to the feeder, but they don't like me being out here. So I am going to participate in Nonfiction November, but just kind of more on the periphery, and there are just some nonfiction books that I'm going to be reading. It definitely could spill over into December as well. So these are my big priorities for the next 2 months. I will do a wrap-up of the books I read this month because I really want to talk to you guys. I finished The Redbreast yesterday, and I really want to talk to you guys about that experience. But one of my things is obviously it's a lot faster to buy books than it is to read them. So Jason and we have a lot of books, and some of them I've just been sitting on the shelf just too long. Like, it's time to get to them. So we're going to rewind time here and go back to 2004. I was a reporter for a newspaper in Cheyenne, and the college and the library hosted a literary event. They had 5 authors. Those authors, according to Jason's good research, in 2004 were Annie Proulx, James Galvin, who I've talked about quite a bit on this channel. There's a car going by. You're going to think I'm crazy. CJ Box. And then the other 2 people who were there at that event were Gus Lee and Alexandra Fuller. And so I went crazy in 2004, and I bought a book from all 5 authors. So I have read the Annie Proulx, as you know. We talked about that in here. And of course, James Galvin. I did read CJ Box. One CJ Box. I'm good. I'm good there. But these other 2 have just been lingering. And so Gus Lee, this is China Boy. I don't remember what the book's about. I just remember what a kind person that he was. And of course, I always got all of these books autographed. So anyway, this is fiction, but it might be slightly autobiographical, so I'll have to look into that. And then the other one is Don't Let's Go to the Dogs Tonight, which is Alexandra Fuller's memoir of growing up in Africa. And she was a great speaker as well, very vivacious, lots of energy. She has since written a book that takes place, well, she's since written several books, but one of them that takes place in Wyoming. There's her signature there. So anyway, I'm like, let's finish out the 2004 literary event and read all the books that I bought at that event. Then in 2005, okay, so we found the list of the authors who came in 2005, and I think I must have calmed down by then because it looks like I only bought 2 books at that event, although there's one that's I haven't quite figured out yet, so I'll talk about that in a second. 2 books that I did buy at that literary event were Plainsong by Kent Haruf, the late Kent Haruf, and let me find his signature in here. So this is, May 21st, 2005. And I don't know why. I've heard so many great things about his books, and I don't know why I haven't read them, but it's time. Clearly, it's time to get to it. And the other one, the other one was Mark Sprague. And I've read more than one Mark Sprague book since that event, and he was fantastic too. There's some other authors on here. Maybe they were there, maybe somebody canceled, I don't know, but I do know that I bought this book at one of those events. And she is not listed. It's, okay, this last name. It's Lisa Couturier? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. This is The Hope of Snakes and Other Tales from the Urban Landscape. And again, this was, she was an author I wasn't terribly interested in going into the event, and I certainly am not a fan of snakes. So, but she was such an incredible speaker, and she was so genuinely kind and nice afterward. And so I ended up buying the book. She actually gave me her address, and I lost it. I was supposed to mail her a copy of my article about the event, and I never did. So Lisa, if you're out there somewhere, I'm really sorry. But anyway, so there is her her signature there. So I don't know, like I said, I think in 2005 one of the other authors must have canceled and they got her in instead. Okay, it's time. So time to finish those. And there's some nonfiction in there. Of course, I'm still going to try to read Davita's Harp before the year is over. The clock strikes midnight on December 31st. I'll turn into a pumpkin if I haven't read this by the end of the year. And the other book that I have mentioned that I haven't read on this channel before is Epileptic by David B., which is a graphic novel. So they're not terribly... Oh, and I'll also be reading The Scarlet Letter, as you know from my most recent video about my buddy read and read along with you guys and with Wilson. I'm so excited about that. And the other thing that I will be reading, that I read, I'm just starting to read it every single year. I don't know how many years in a row I've read it now, but I have to read the Christmas Carol. I just love it. I think it's a perfect... yeah, I mean, I hate, like, it's a strong word. It's a perfect book. So Jason's actually planning to read this too, so I'm not sure how we're going to fight over who gets it when, but we'll both be reading about it, and we can talk more about whether or not it's a perfect book. So anyway, if you're familiar with any of the authors that I mentioned in this video, if you've met any of them, or if anything jumped out at you, some of these people, other than like Kent Haruf, obviously I know some other books that he's since published since then, but I have no idea what some of these other authors have been doing since I saw them in 2004, 2005. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm just like, it's time to read these things that have been sitting on the shelf too long. And I'm not saying I'm going to get rid of them, but it's kind of hanging over my head a little bit. Just a little tiny bit. All right, you guys, take care. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.